What's going on, everybody? Payne back here again with another Punishing Gray Raven video, and today guys we're going to be doing our very first showcase, and we're going to be covering none other than Lee. S-Class version that I've got to Triple S. I want to talk about everything this character has to offer. That is from the weapons that he's going to be using, the best memories for the character, from his basic combos to his skills and how to apply them best, and what each and every single one of them do, and how you should be playing this character to maximize his DPS. Without further ado guys, let's get into it. Alright boys and girls, welcome back. This is our very first showcase in this game, and we're going to start off with none other than Lee, as I mentioned in introduction. Now this is currently my favorite character in the game due to his abilities to do long range and close range combat, and the fact that he's just super flashy, has incredible moves, and we're going to talk about everything this character has to offer and the best way to utilize him, whether it's understanding all of his basic combos, all of his pings, all of his skills and how they should be utilized, as well as the weapons that are best suited for him, and lastly the best kind of memories you could use and the different outfits you can get for this character. So let's go into members and constructs. I'm going to show you guys my Lee, and we're going to go over his skills, and we'll go over all of his weapons and memories, and then we're going to look at the actual combat, and I'm going to go through every single frame that this character has to offer and what best ways to fight with him. Okay, so let's go to the train for a section. I'm going to go through his actual evolved form. Now this is of course Triple S class. As you can see here, once you get to Triple S you need 18 to go any further. This is not a requirement guys. This does unlock extra skills. The more you get the class up higher past the S class, it will unlock extra abilities, sorry, not abilities but traits, and we're going to go through those in the skill section, but I'm telling you guys now, it is not a requirement for this character to be pretty damn OP. Now for coding, this is of course the skins. I've got the very beginning skin that you have here, which is offered. This is the generic one. Once you get him to level 50, you can open up generic modify with just a little bit alteration to his coat, obviously opening up the collar, exposing a little bit of skin there, and then you can of course get the gray feathers entropy version, and lastly you can pay. Okay, this is the pay version of it, the Ashen End, which is currently my favorite skin in the game, so that's the one I'm going with. But again, these three here can be procured through the shop, but this one here actually has to be purchased through the coding special offer using rainbow cards. Currently at the moment, that may change obviously. At least that's what I've figured out, but I could be different. If anybody else knows otherwise, please let me know in the comment section. Alright, now let's go to the actual skills. Now here's what this character is all about. As I mentioned, he's really flashy, super quick. He's got great close combat and great range combat. So actually, you know what, I won't say ranged, he's got medium range. Okay, so he doesn't have long range, but he's got medium range. So enough for you to stay away from the enemies while hitting them pretty hard, but at the same time he does have a lot of close quarter combat ability. So let's start off with the red orb, which is a damage type, and it's called continuous fire. This one leaps into the air and shoots continuously forward in a small area, dealing 19.85%, 39.71, or 61.76% physical damage per shot based on the number of orbs pinged. Now these percentages guys are based on if you ping 1 red, 2 red versus 3 reds, and that's very important to note in this game. Your damage does scale based off how many of those orbs you ping, so make sure guys you try to ping 3 with him, specifically because as you will see later, his Space Lord combo actually does work off of pinning 3 and then 1 red, so it's really important to note that with him. Alright, now he is a physical damage dealer. He has no element to him from my understanding. We'll go back and look at that after in the detail section, so he is going to be pure physical damage. Right. Now the second thing, yellow orb, which is called backstep firing. Now this one's a cool one. He moves and shoots at the target based off the number of orbs pinged, dealing 153%, 375%, 597. This is your biggest damage dealing move that he offers you, and it's kind of cool because he actually ends up marking the target to 4, 6 to 8 seconds. Attacking a marked target will carry out additional shots that deal 17.06, 34.12 and 51.18 physical damage based on the number of orbs pinged. Same thing applies here guys. When marking an already marked target, the mark with the higher number of pings will replace the lower one. So if you do 1 first on a boss and then you do 2, the second mark will actually replace it. Same thing applies with 3. So really important guys, this is a shotgun ability. It's kind of cool because he jumps towards the opponent, bounces off of them, and pretty much does a shotgun which does a ton of damage, and we'll show you guys that animation once we get there. And then lastly the blue orb, which is induction. Fires an energy projectile forward, dealing 85, 170, 255 based on the ping. Physical damage, an energy ring will be generated after the projectile hits a target or reaches a certain distance. When the energy ring is deployed, it slightly pulls the enemy towards the center once. Based on the number of orbs pinged, enemies in the ring take 20, 40, 61% physical damage for 3, 4, or 5 seconds. So this is a really good way, guys, to gather a ton of enemies in one location. So it sucks them in, it does damage to them, and this is a great way to let off your red orb. Now the cool thing with the red orb is when you actually do pull it off, you can actually control his direction. So you can go left, right, up, and down. So depending on where your enemies are firing, or if you're trying to dodge something, it's a good way to dodge things in the air while you're coming down, so you can actually do a proper dodge. So those are his skills. Now let's talk about his active skills. All right, so basic attacks. Fires consecutively at the target, dealing 679.41% physical damage in total. One of the coolest looking animations, we'll go through that, of course, showing you the burst mode. His signature, which is his special move, Orbital Strike. Signature move costs 100 energy, calls in fire support from long range energy cannons, dealing 341.18 physical damage per shot. The cool thing is you have a timer on this, and you can actually move the signal to where you want. So once you kill an enemy, you can actually rotate the screen around and hit other enemies at the same time. So this has actually got a lot of utility for a damage dealing move. Alright, now blind spot ambush. Lee shoots in midair, dealing 494.12 physical damage to the target. This is his QTE. An attacker, extra damage bonus increased by 16.47. I believe that one there actually ends up being one of the skills you get from unlocking double S. And then this is his Ultima Awaken. Ultima Awaken, guys, is when you actually unlock the final level for him. So every character has an Ultima Awaken. He gets 3 signal orbs when entering the battle. Alright, now passive skills. This is where it starts becoming apparent how important dupes are, okay? So his core passive, after 3 pings, pinging the next red orb will carry out consecutive shots that deal 46.91% physical damage per shot. And I'll show you guys that is his main ping, okay? Space Lord. Now second thing, Captain, Tactitional Operation. Physical damage and movement speed of all party members are increased by 15% and 10%. So this is actually a really cool one because you actually end up moving faster and doing more physical damage. So he does carry a physical damage team really well if he is the leader of that team. Alright, target lock, electrocute. Extra damage bonus increased by 15% when attacking a target with an energy ring. So this is your blue energy ring, right? So when you pop that, you do 15% more bonus damage to that unit. So it's kind of cool to drop one of those, even if it's a level 1, in order to get that bonus damage when you unlock his double S skill. And this is his triple S skill, target lock mark. Extra damage bonus increased by 20% when attacking a target by backstep firing. So this is when you do his yellow ping, he'll instantly get that 20% on that mark, increasing his damage substantially, obviously. And then lastly, if you unlock him to the last possible dupe that he has available, he increases physical damage by 10% for 5 seconds after a 3 ping, can be stacked up to 3 times, guys. And the duration refreshes when stacks overlap. Freaking OP. So again, that's the highest possible you can get for his dupes, and that 360 lock is pretty incredible. But again, none of these are required. As you can see here, it says SSS plus rank unlocked, and I'll show you the rest of them down here when you need to unlock them, right? So let's go back here and actually do a tutorial with Lee, and I'll show you guys how this unit is played and how you should actually be using him. Now this is Chrono Shot, this is his hidden skill, this is his ping. So you need to get 3 orbs together, it doesn't matter if it's red, blue, or yellow, and then you need to get 1 red after the fact, and it actually does Space Lord, which is pretty incredible move to do. So let's go into it and let's talk about some of his skills, and I'll record this voiceover as I play the game with him. Okay guys, so first thing we're going to do is when we get in here is you're going to notice I'm playing on an LD player here, so you're going to see the buttons here. But so let's talk about his actual basic combo attacks, okay? If you look at the animation frames, his about 5th combo right there is an AoE, so it hits a lot more units in a row. So he's great for AoE, but he's really meant to be a single target unit, okay? So now that's pretty much his basic skill. So you want to be mid-range to start off. You don't need to be up close. Okay, so you can see here, he does quite a bit of damage just from that basic combo, and there is an AoE element to it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and throw that ring in there real quick, just to show you guys how it works. So here, I'm going to shoot it, And there you go. See, enemy goes into the center, takes damage, and it lasts for about 5 seconds, okay? 3 seconds, 4 seconds, or 5 seconds. All right, so that's the blue ring there. Now, if we do the B shot, which is the backstep, he jumps onto the enemy and then bounces off while double shooting, and now the enemy has mark on them, okay? So again, let's just try that one more time. There you go. So 3 shots, a lot of damage, and mark target is set up, okay? Now we're gonna do his actual red orb, and I'm going to do the triple ping to show you guys how Space Lord works, okay? So you want to build up 3 pings for Lee on a constant basis. You don't want to use them without the 3 pings because that Space Lord damage is pretty damn useful. So we're going to go ahead and do the ring first. All right, so I'll do the ring, and then we'll do A, and then B. Now watch these extra Space Lord things. There you go, right there. That extra damage, okay? So that's what I was referring to, right? Let's go ahead and build this up again, and try to get a little bit more, and I'll explain this to you guys again. So there's 1 red, okay, and I'll show you guys this special right after. So let's build these up. Let's get as many of these as we can in the chamber. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and use this one first. We'll use X next. So now you guys can see I have the blue, all right, and I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and you're gonna now see the Space Lord come off again. So we're gonna do B, and then we're gonna do X. There you go. Space Lord comes out like that. All right, so that's the goal with Lee. You want to make sure you constantly are using enough of the 3 pings and pop that Space Lord as much as you possibly can. Now, I did mention with the red ping, you can control him, right? So if I do this, look, I can actually move to different directions. That's kind of the cool part of the red ping. Even if you don't get the 3 ping and you're desperate to get some damage out because you're close to killing a boss and you don't want to hold off on the 3 ping, that's fine. Remember that you can somewhat dodge by using that red one. Right? So it's very important, guys, that you guys do utilize that as much as you possibly can to move around a bit if you don't have any dodge available to you. All right, now let's talk about his actual ultimate. All right, so we're going to do right trigger, and as you can see here, it pops, and you're going to be shooting, but if you kill that enemy, you can actually move the signal around a little bit, as you saw there. That signal moving around will do a lot of damage to other enemies nearby. And keep in mind, if your enemy that you're attacking originally is just 1 enemy and you want to hit multiple enemies and there's someone beside him, move that little target over so it hits multiple enemies at the same time. There's no need to waste that ultimate because it does do a lot of damage and you want to utilize that damage as much as you possibly can. Alright, so again guys, just to break it down here, Lee is great at mid-range. There's the mid-range combo, some AoE, and very good close range. He has pure physical damage, so he does not bring any element to the game. That's kind of his downfall. He has 100% physical damage. His Space Lord is very, very highly advised to be used as often as possible, so you don't want to go ahead and use every ping that you get. Make sure you build that 3 ping up, like so, and then you want to go ahead and use this as much as you possibly can to get that extra damage in. Alright guys, we're back here again. So here is what we're going to do for his weapons. Now, there are a couple weapons that you can use for Lee, and it all depends on how you want to do it and how your playstyle is. Okay, so his actual main weapon is going to be Zero Scale. Zero Scale is built for the Time Lord skill to do 10% more damage, and physical damage is increased by 15% for 5 seconds after a 3 ping. Now, his Resonance skill for this weapon, his first one is weapon's final attack is increased by 15% at the start of the battle, no duration limit, which means it's a flat 15% on his final attack on this weapon. So I haven't got the other 2 unlocked yet, but I will let you know as soon as that pops up. This is his main weapon. It's meant for him as a character, but if you're still hunting for this weapon, there are other options. The secondary weapon that is viable for him is going to be Wolf Fang, but it has to be used with a burning character, unfortunately, because all damage is increased by 20% when attacking enemies in a burning area. This is actually made for the A class Lee, so not the S class Lee. This is made for the other version of him, the A version. So that is going to be his main weapon. But if you're running a fire team with this currently, and you can pull off some fire moves, this is not a bad way to increase your damage, especially if you have fire running around the whole area, and those enemies will take a lot more damage. But it's not advised to use this. On the other hand, you can use this 5-star Gloomlight, which actually consumes red, yellow, and blue signal orbs within 5 seconds to increase all damage by 15% for 5 seconds. So it does absorb your orbs, but it does give you a lot more damage coming through at 15%. So Gloomlight is not a bad weapon, guys, to go with if that's the only other option you have. And then of course this blue one is not bad. It does require a little bit of patience. Physical damage is increased by 15% when the combo is greater than 50. To be quite honest with you, Tokarev is not a bad weapon at all, especially for those who are starting starting off, 50 hit combo is really easy to accomplish with Lee. That's literally a full rotation of maybe 2 or 2.5 combos, and you're already at 50 pretty quickly, especially if there are other units around the area and you do your AoE with your basic combo. You'll reach 50 either in 1 turn or 2 turns max. So this 15% damage is pretty easy to accomplish, and honestly, the amount of physical damage you're pulling off with Lee with his basic and all of his moves are all physical damage. This gun is actually pretty superior to Gloomlight to some extent, as well as superior to Wolfang, but no other weapon move will actually beat 0 scale. So that is the best weapon choice, guys. So go 0 scale in my opinion, Takara for the weapon skill trait, Wolfang obviously for the amount of output damage that you can do if you have yourself a burning character or a fire character. And lastly, Gloomlight would probably be my last choice, just because the 5 seconds of 15% isn't bad, but it's not the greatest. I do enjoy this a little bit more. Alright guys, let's get into memories. Now here's what I'm currently running with Lee, but there are many options you can go with. So Hannah currently is 3 ping damage increases by 25%. Because you are constantly trying to get that 3 ping with him to get Space Lord, this is a pretty easy one to choose. That's probably my favorite out of all of them. And then of course I use Condalina, and that is because the 2 set piece does basic attack damage by 15%. Again, the basic damage is quite a bit of what he does pull off, so it's a great way to increase that damage. And then the 4 piece basic damage have a 20% chance to go berserk, increasing basic attack damage by 15% and crit rate by 5% for 5 seconds. 8-second cooldown, so that's not bad. You can proc that very often. So this is my personal favorite combination for Lee at the moment. Now there are other choices, right? You can do AF, I don't know if I'm saying this correct, IFI or AFI or IFI. For each orb pinged, all damage increased by 2% for 3 seconds, can be stacked up to 5 times when entering the matrix upon a 3 ping. Enters the matrix upon a 3 ping, sorry, which gives you 60-second cooldown. That's actually really cool because Lee is so fast with his animations and attacks, entering the matrix gives you a massive advantage. So being in there, even if it's one cooldown of 60 seconds, is not bad to have an extra one, but it's not his best. All right, now Richelieu is obviously going to be a no-go completely, because that is not something you want to focus on. But let's actually go back here, guys. We're going to go to item set, and we'll do it through this way, okay? So Da Vinci right now has, when QT is triggered, the construct on the field gains 10% attack and 20% defense for 5 seconds. Honestly, that's more for a Kamui in my opinion, not necessarily for Lee. So Philip 2, let's talk about Philip real quick. This is a healing effect one, so that's going to be for Liv, so that's going to be a no-go. We already covered her and Hannah. Darwin here, actually, Darwin wouldn't be bad. For every orb pinged, all damage increased by 3% for 4 seconds, can be stacked up to 5 times. It's a pretty damn good set for Lee. This one here, because I aim for 3 pings a lot more often, it's a little inferior to the ones I showed you, but still a very good piece nonetheless. When an orb is pinged, you will gain a corresponding color of it. That's kind of cool. Collect 3 colors to unleash a shockwave, dealing 600% physical damage. Because Lee is a pure physical damage, the 4-piece set here shines really well. So if you're gonna get Darwin, get the 4-piece set and definitely equip that, and you can see a lot of damage come through from Lee. Now let's go to the 5 stars real quick. Erwin, basic attack damage increased by 10%, basic attack damage by 15% without being attacked, 12-second cooldown starts when taking a hit. So this is not a bad one. It does require you to dodge really well, and we talked about basic damage being a big part for Lee, so definitely a really good one for him. Voltaire, listen, this one is not bad, but I also think that this one belongs more on a support unit. You know, the defense, reducing opponent's defense by 10% for 5 seconds isn't bad. When taking damage, the physical defense of the attacked enemy reduced by 15%. So it's not bad, but I'd rather put that on a support unit, not definitely on Lee. Let's see, Mozart here. Mozart here also has all damage increased by 50% when in the Matrix, deals 200% damage to all enemies on the screen when you are in the Matrix, so that's kind of a cool one if you plan to dodge quite often and be in that Matrix, but still not the best one for Lee. And then we have a couple other ones here, guys. Gloria, attack reduced element resistance by 6%, useless for Lee because he's a physical damage. This is for elemental resistance, and he doesn't do any elemental damage, he's pure physical, so that's kind of useless. Richelieu, I think we already covered, it's a healing effect one, so that is for Liv. And then we're going to go down to Samantha here. Samantha, again, another healer, which you're not going to use except for if you're using for Liv. And then Ike's not bad. Ike is actually who I had originally, Ike's who I originally had used for him. And all damage increased by 2% and elemental damage increased by 4%. So this is not bad, but this is better for people who have this is a starting one. So this is only a 2-piece that is decent. The main thing for this guy is going to actually end up being for Karenina or people with an elemental. So Ike is great for them, but not that good for Lee. But if you can get a 2-piece off of him, I mean, it's not the worst thing to have all damage increase, but again, it's pretty small amount considering he only has physical damage. And lastly, we have Ardor here, and that's when attacking, has 20% chance to call an artillery strike, each shell dealing 40% physical damage, probably one of the worst ones for him. So again, the ones I mentioned before that you're going to be using most often are going to be Condolina, Hannah, and Darwin, if you get the 4-piece for Darwin. And in terms of actual DPS sets for 5 pieces, for the 5 stars, the best one is probably going to be Irwin for him. Irwin's probably going to be the best piece that you can get, so at least get the 4-piece for that and go from there. Alright guys, so that is pretty much it for Lee. If you guys have any questions, give me a shout, but that is the best way to play with him. Those are the best memories and weapons that you can use. And again, not required to get dupes, but still pretty damn good if you do have it. It does increase his damage quite substantially. Alright guys, this is Payne. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a shout on the comment section if you want me to change anything, and I hope this video helped you guys out. Take care.